Hello friends, welcome back for another part of our walkthrough of Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out. Picking up right where we left off. We had just finished our shipping network. Let's get expanding, Let's get started creating our hatch ranching area, which is going to be a big participant in our shipping network so that we can ranch some hatches, get some more coal, and then ship that coal straight over to here. Kind of get more renewable on this instead of just relying on what we found on the map. So let's get this going. First of all, we just need to displace our duplicants for just a little bit, so I'm just going to start moving them out of the way. This will change again once this area is done, so just going to rebuild this little barracks area over here, just to kind of get them out of the way. I'm sure they feel very welcome by all this. Let's see, how many beds are we going to need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Although, I'm only going to have this many duplicants here, but I'll still just do that many. Alright, there we go. We'll get that rebuilt, so they have a place to sleep, I guess. Alright, so let's get our hatch ranching going. First of all, I'm just going to create a little bit of space on the side of this food production area, or I guess like the farm area, whatever. And then the left side, I'm going to like combine our farm area and our ranching area. So all these I'm not really going to need anymore because I'm going to move everything over to the left. And the right side of these is just going to be used for ranching. So all we need to do to get this started is we obviously need some doors. Then let's figure out how much space we actually need for these. And this is going to be a little tight, only so that we can double up the usage of these spaces. I can't remember where I first saw this. I think I was reviewing some Fix My Base submissions, and I saw somebody that did that, and I was like, whoa, that's a good idea. I should do that. So it might have been Frosty's base? I don't remember for sure. Someone, but I think was doing something like this, so I've definitely picked up that habit. I like it a lot. So just moving all of our food over a little bit so that we can continue to grow it and replace what we just dug up. Need to provide some water for these ones. Then as we get these ones replaced, I can just replace them with tiles. Alright, anyway, sorry. Totally went on a tangent there, but let's get our ranching going. We need a station for grooming these hatches, so I'm just going to drop it right here over on the right. We need a place to have them be dropped off if we need to have our duplicants move them from room to room. And then at least to get started, or at least to first, like, seed our rooms, I'm going to add a few storage bins like this. And then I'm going to add a door and one tile. Whoops, I totally misplaced that. And one tile right here. This is going to allow us to use the space for this whole room for a ranch. Oh, whoops, I shouldn't have put these on the very outside. This is going to allow us to use this entire room for one ranch, but we're also going to use the extra space that the ranch doesn't really need for growing food. So we might as well just do that. So I'll just drop these kind of down here. This should be plenty of space for our ranches. I'm going to do this. And this can hold 7 hatches. So I'm going to set this to 7. I'm going to put this on a fairly high priority. We're also just going to hold the hatches in here. And then as soon as we make sure that all this is closed off, this should turn into a stable. Wow, that was a really bad tongue twister. So yeah, 93 tiles. We can hold 7 hatches in here. So if we have any hatches that are around the map, I'm just going to wrangle them like this. So here's a bunch of them down there. There's some eggs that are about to hatch, so we'll get those as well. Might be some down here on the bottom or like on the sides. Sometimes they like burrow themselves into the ground, so it can be a little bit hard to find. No, that's a Sweetle. I don't want that. Let's see. There's really not a lot of hatches on this map. I'm kind of surprised. I guess we did get that clutch of eggs recently, so that's good. But any of the hatches that we have, we're going to throw them in this room. And that's all walled off, so we're good to go. I'm just going to create 3 of these types of rooms. It's going to be half growing food and half ranching these hatches. Let's get our food replanted in these. And we're going to need 1 light over here. That's probably fine. There we go. Oh, I should just leave this one. Cancel. Yeah, and then we're just going to kind of repeat the process for 3 rooms that are all right on top of each other. And I want these rooms to be kind of in the middle of my base because my duplicants are going to be spending a good amount of time ranching these hatches and dealing with the farms. So might as well make them pretty centralized to where my duplicants are going to be living and doing a whole bunch of other things. So Yeah. Hook up our power here really quickly to these lights. There we go. Then we'll just duplicate all these rooms really quickly. We won't be able to fill them up right now, but we'll at least make the structure so that we can fill them up when the time comes. Whoops. I've also am going to want to hook this up to my shipping network in a couple of different ways, so we'll do that next. Let me just make sure this is all good. Since we're bordered up against a pit of water right now, I'm not going to worry too much about like making this accessible. So we're just going to have to deal with it for the time being. Alright, so now we've got this. Let's just seed this room with some food really quickly. So all I'm going to do is, if you look at the hatches, this is what they can eat. This huge list of stuff. The only things I'm really interested in feeding them among this are sandstone and sedimentary rock. I don't want to be feeding them like my meat or eggs or something like that. Like, I want them to just eat the stuff that I have a lot of and that I'm only reserving for them. So this will also be the point where I kind of want to stop using sandstone and sedimentary rock to build stuff if I can. Just because I'm going to start considering that hatch food now. Oh, I forgot to replace this tile. That's why it's showing that it's not stable. Alright, so cool. So we have that. Now let's get our shipping up for this area too. So shipping, I'm going to want to ship everything out of this room, or this area, I guess, except for the sandstone and sedimentary rock, because that's what I want my hatches to eat. Does this all reach? It looks like it can reach these bottom tiles. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, cool. Still only need 3. So yeah, pretty much the same configuration as we normally would with this much space, so there we go. And then a conveyor loader, we'll put it in between these two. I am running out of refined metal here. This is why I was saying it's a good idea to get on top of the refined metal and keep going with that. I'm going to add a little bit more gold amalgam to this. And I'm choosing gold amalgam only because it is going to produce the least amount of heat when we're going to be smithing it a little bit later. And that's only going to matter because if we're using these two forms of liquid to smith things, they will not heat it up enough so that we can use it as regular water afterwards. It will still be too cold to transfer into regular water, so I don't want to do that. So hook up the rest of this food really quick. There we go. And then the things that I want to be shipping out of here, like I mentioned, everything except for the food that I'm going to be feeding these hatches, which is the sandstone and sedimentary rock. The left one, I guess, doesn't matter as much. That could be either one, but yeah. Still only 5 hatches. Oh, here's a couple more. Yeah, they do come out at night, so they are a little bit easier to find. Not you, I don't want this pip. Oh, there's 2 of them there. Okay. So yeah, getting a pretty good setup here. Let's run our shipping lines like we're supposed to, and kind of get them all shipped back to the right location. These ones can just go to the right. I don't really care that much about them all going to the same place. These ones, I guess I'll just put on a new line that are just all going to go upward. Well, that was kind of a waste of resources. Might as well do this differently than that. Cancel those. There we go. We'll just send this up and around into one of these drop-offs right there. Sure. We can change these lines at some point too, but looking good. There we go. No particular order of how to hook these up to power, just kind of whatever works. Get the rest of these all hooked up. Guess that one wasn't really necessary. We canceled this one. Okay, everything's powered, so looks like we're good. This is only about half of the setup, though. Let's build the other half, which is going to be... These hatches are going to be laying eggs, and I need to be able to replenish these populations, because I don't want to constantly have to remember to go back and be like, oh, there are hatches here? I should wrangle them and get them back in these rooms. I'd rather have my duplicants do it automatically when it's time. So let's set up a couple of rooms for this. One of which is just going to be a room where we drop off a bunch of extra eggs. It'll be like a holding tank, or a holding room, or whatever you want to call it. That's just going to be for when we need more hatches to go into these rooms. My duplicants will come in here and they will get them. So I'm going to start off by putting a mechanized airlock sideways like this. And then I'm going to put a... where is this? Critter drop-off right on top of it. The reason why is because I only want my duplicants to run hatches back into these rooms if they're actually needed. If all of these rooms are full of hatches, then I don't want my duplicates to constantly go in here and wrangle them for no reason. So this door is going to be the mechanism that allows us to... wow, I guess Nails is stuck. This is going to be the mechanism that allows us to use this drop-off or not. And you can see that when it's open, they can't actually do anything with it. So a little bit of an exploit, I guess, but it works. And inside this room, I'm going to want to drop or put a auto sweeper, conveyor loader, and a conveyor chute. Because if I get any eggs, I want them to go in here. We also need one more thing, one more room. Let's carve out something that looks about like this. And kind of close it off like that. Well, we'll close it off in a little bit. But this room up here is going to be where we drown all the extra hatches. And this is going to turn into a good amount of barbecue. So we're kind of getting an extra food source from ranching these as well. And this can all be pretty automated also. So up here, if the hatches are dying in this room, I definitely want a conveyor loader, auto sweeper, and a conveyor chute here too. Then any excess that we do not want to fall in this room is just going to come up here. This room is going to be all filled with water, so we will want something like that. Let's do it. Let me move this, actually. I'm going to hook this up to a hydro sensor to make sure that it stops trying to fill it up once we have enough water in here. And I am going to fill it up all the way to the top and leave this much space, because if we do decide to ranch Drecos or something like that, I do want to make sure that they can't get out, but also that I have enough room to like build buildings and stuff in here. I know there is a way you could do this a little bit more tightly, but I don't want to like... To me anyway, and let me know how you feel about this, by the way. When I was first starting out and I was seeing people's builds and they were all like really compact and really like space efficient, and there was a lot going on, it was a lot harder for me to follow. So I try to make these a little bit more... oh my god, I can't believe I keep saying spaced out. So that it's easier to read stuff. So that's my plan, but okay. Now that we have our 2 rooms, let me hook this up to power just so a bunch of these alerts go away. You don't need to hook up your doors to power, by the way. The doors will still open and close. They'll just open and close more slowly if they're not powered, which is fine. We don't need this to be particularly speedy. Alright, once we get this all set up, let's start setting up our shipping for this system. Now these can reach all the way over to the side, so... If I get any hatch eggs, I'm just going to set up a conveyor loader here that's still within range of these auto sweepers. I'm really bad at remembering names in case you can't tell. Then I'm just going to run this line down to this room. And from this room, I'm going to then have the line go past it. I'm going to put a conveyor bridge after it so that it keeps going up and drops into this room. Now, if we're aware of how most of the piping works in this game, you might just think, well, isn't everything just going to get dropped into this chute? And yes, you're right. If it's going along this line, it definitely will get dropped into that chute. But we can add some automation here. I'm just going to add a critter sensor. I'm going to just kind of stick it in the corner here. So that's going to detect if there are a certain number of critters or eggs in this room. And if I already have a certain number of eggs, I'm going to close this chute so that it'll go past the chute and up into this room to where I'm going to be drowning them. So let's set our settings here really quickly on the critter sensor. Let's say if it is above, I don't know, 10 hatch eggs in here, then I want to close this. Sorry, if it's... Yeah, I had that right, I was just thinking about it backwards. So if it's below 10 hatch eggs, that means that I want more, and I'll allow more to drop in. Any excess that comes from here, such as eggshells... I guess I should probably replace this with some tile I can build through. Any excess, such as eggshells or meat or whatever that might drop from here, I definitely want to ship back into my normal network. So just going to kind of sneak that in here too and connect it up to my line that starts dropping everything off. So yeah, fairly straightforward setup for some of this stuff. It looks a little bit more intimidating than it actually is, but if you think about this, about half of this stuff is just to ship stuff in and out of the room. The rest of it, as far as the automation, they're all small little pieces that kind of work together, so hopefully this isn't too bad to keep up with. The stuff that I want to ship out of this room is going to be everything except for eggs, because eggs are going to be sitting in these rooms. So there's probably going to be some stuff that they ship out there initially, so that's good. Now let's talk about when we want this door to be opened or closed. Now we only want to be able to send more critters, or rather have duplicates come in here and grab more hatches and put them in these rooms if there is more needed here. So we're going to need more critter sensors in each one of these rooms. I'm going to drop one in each. Like that. I'm going to hook them all up together, but I'm going to hook them up with some OR gates. So OR gates are basically a way to say if one thing or another thing is saying to do something, then you should do it. And is the opposite. And is like both of them have to be green. So here we go. We'll add an OR gate there. Add an OR gate here. And just kind of daisy chain them like that. So this one goes into here. So this first OR gate is evaluating the bottom two. This top OR gate is evaluating the top one and the bottom two by extension, because we're just kind of leading from one gate into the next. And then these are just going to need to be connected over to this door. And then before it gets to the door, though, I need to invert this, because when I want more hatches, we need the door to be closed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this isn't too complicated, but this should be ideally pretty easy to follow. If it's not, let me know and I can hopefully provide a little bit of clarity. Also, this is turning into a little bit of a longer video than I expected. Alright, one more thing that we need to do to set this up is I need to set up a auto wrangle for any surplus on here. I'm going to set it to 1, and I'm going to set it to something that will never be in here, like a shine nymph. Is usually the one that I'll pick. So the way this will work is, let me actually get some eggs shipped into their network so we can see this really quickly. And yeah, we're just going to have to deal with this being a longer video. Oh, I don't even have enough refined metal. Alright, let me do this. Let me fill up this room so we can see the rest of this. Let me wait until I have more refined metal before we do this, and I'll come back and edit on a small piece right after this, so I'll be right back. Okay, got a little bit more refined metal. We started the flow of water up into this room. Let's get this going. I've just put an auto sweeper and a conveyor loader right next to where my printing pod is, so that anything that gets printed, I can just grab it and ship it out of here if I need to, or rather if I want to, but there's no real reason not to. So we should have enough, oh, I don't want this made out of lead. I'd rather have this made out of something else. Cancel. Make it out of gold. Also, something that I just did was the time finally came to split up our transformers, so... oh, they're actually not split up right now. They should be. So this one is basically going to power everything to, like, the right and the top of it. And the other one is going to power... Oh, I keep disconnecting this the wrong way. The other one's going to power all the stuff in the center of my base. So we did talk about this recently of, like, eventually you will start to get brownouts because your transformers can't push as many power requesters that are on here. So just kind of arbitrarily split the line in half and just put them on different transformers is all you need to do. Okay, let's set up the stuff that we want to ship out of here. Oh, by the way, our printing pod went off, and I thought this was really funny. More hatchling eggs! Yay, the game knows what we're doing. Alright, let's ship everything that we get out of here. And I'm going to just prioritize the hatchling eggs for right now, just so that it ships up there faster, so we can see this in action. And once they're all in there, I'll spec it for everything. There we go. There, now ship everything. Alright, once these get up here... The conveyor loader that's going to first go into this room and then up to here with the hatchling eggs. We just need to spec that out. So critter egg, hatchling eggs. If you get stone hatchlings, I like to just mix them together. So either stone hatchlings in here or regular hatchlings, I don't really care. Also, our duplicants were able to fill up these bins. So all we need to do to feed these hatches now is just deconstruct the bins. And then we're going to set up some shipping to automatically feed any sandstone or sedimentary rock that we get back down into this room. So let's do that. There we go. And I need to split it in 3 ways. This is going to be a little bit goofy. So I'm going to need to come down here and divide this in 3 ways. There's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So one's going to drop off there. One can drop off here. The other one I'm just going to need to snake down. I want to divide these evenly so that I can feed all the hatches evenly. And just do something like this. 1, 2, 3. Sound like that owl from the Tootsie Roll commercials. People are like, what's a Tootsie Roll? Alright, and then the things that I want to ship into those rooms are going to be any sandstone and sedimentary rock that I get. Okay, did the hatch eggs make it through? Yeah, they did. Okay, so when they were coming through on this line, I'm sorry I wasn't watching, I should have been. When they come through on the line, If there is less than 10 eggs in this room, they will drop into this chute. If not, they will bypass the chute. They're going to go across the bridge, and the bridge is a good way to like force them to go a certain direction. So I'm going to force them to go up just in case anything else gets hooked up to the into this line. Then they're going to drop into the drowning room. This will get more and more populated over time as we get more hatches laying eggs and that kind of stuff. So there you go. There's a nice roundabout way of getting our hatches ranched, getting them all replenished, and getting the barbecue from when they are no longer needed in this world. All the excess that we get. The reason you want to ship the eggs out of here is because the hatches will get very unhappy if you don't. So that's the whole idea. Anyway, that's hatch ranching in a nutshell. I did make 3 of them, or I'm going to be ranching ideally 21 of them at a time because we're going to be relying on coal for quite a long time. Plus, any sandstone and sedimentary rock isn't that valuable as a resource, so I'd rather just feed it to hatches and turn it into coal. So there you go. Anyway, longer video, but thanks for sticking through it. I'll see you back here with another one really soon, where I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be doing. I'm still looking for the somnium synthesizer. So if I can find that, then we'll go into natural gas. But if not, we're going to do something else. So, okay, thanks for watching. Take care.